What's up everyone, my name is Haseo Castillo and let's talk about The Flash Season 4. It's crazy to think about that we were talking about The Flash Season 4 since Flash Season 3 just ended last Tuesday. But from the finale, and the CW just released some stuff about Season 4 and the finale yesterday, there's a lot to talk about. Not a sponsor, I wish though. So the finale of Season 4. There was a storm towards the end of the episode. Savitar had just been defeated, everything was all good, and then a storm erupted in Central City. What was the storm? It wasn't what they said exactly, but we all know that it was technically a Speed Force storm. And there were lightning bolts hitting God knows what or who throughout Central City while this storm was going on. So the way the Speed Force kind of works, at least on the show, is somebody has to be trapped in the Speed Force at all times. That's why Savitar was in there, and then after that Wally was in there, and then after that, to get Wally out, Jay was in there, and then Jay came out recently in the last episode. So then Barry decided to be a hero and trap himself in the Speed Force and walk into the Speed Force with his mother, and then the Speed Force storm was gone. But if you have not kept up with the recent Flash storyline, a Speed Force storm erupts in Central City, and the same thing, lightning bolts keep hitting God knows what throughout the city, and during the storm, the people that were hit with these lightning bolts, they resulted in having speedster powers. Everyone who got hit became a speedster. Throughout that time, Barry decided to take ownership and mentor these speedsters because they didn't know what they were doing. They just got their powers. And Barry decided to help them so they wouldn't just be stupid and reckless and cause havoc throughout the city. And throughout this whole thing, a speedster came out and he was the villain going around killing people. Some good people, some bad people, and this villain's name was Godspeed. Now, who is Godspeed? Godspeed is formerly known as August Hart. August Hart is a detective. He works with Barry in the Central City Police Department, and he is Barry's colleague. He works with Barry. He was the only witness when Barry got his speedster powers. And then when August got his speedster powers, he became Barry's unofficial partner, kind of. August's brother was killed by a criminal in Central City, and August was going around and trying to find these people. And once he got his speedster powers, he was going around and trying to get revenge on whoever killed his brother. Godspeed, he isn't really a villain. He is more of a vigilante. He has killed good people and he has killed bad people. Still, killing somebody is terrible, but he's not just a straight up villain. Now, Godspeed has some pretty dope powers. Every speedster has a different level of knowledge and abilities when it comes to the Speed Force. And yes, you know, obviously he has super speed, stamina, healing abilities. One of the really cool ones he has is that he can make a clone of himself, and he could be at two places at once. Now, that takes an insane amount of power and energy for him to do that, and that's also a way that somebody can defeat him, because when that clone is essentially gone, he is weakened and he is vulnerable. And if he ever comes on the show, that is a possible way to defeat him. Now, Andrew Kreisberg and Greg Berlanti, co-creators of the show and executive producers of The Flash, they released a video with the CW yesterday that the Speed Force storm was also just a cool way and a new way to bring in new villains and new maybe criminals. And like we said in the comics, when the Speed Force storm hit people in Central City, there's a lot of people who got speedster powers. And I feel like on the show, now that Barry is trapped in the Speed Force, Wally's gonna have to step up and become the Flash and become the one to protect Central City. And I feel like this is a really cool way for Wally's character to evolve, because Eobard Thawne was Barry's mentor and Barry was Wally's mentor. Now I feel like Wally can become a mentor, possibly a father figure to these people who just got granted Speed Force powers. And he obviously doesn't know as much as Barry, but he knows a very good amount to where he knows what he's doing, and he's not gonna just let people run around his city and tear it down and just cause a bunch of havoc. I feel like season 4 will not be the season of Godspeed for two reasons. One, a while back they said that a speedster was not going to be the villain for season 4. Now they've dropped that a couple times actually into reason number 2. They've name dropped a possible villain a couple times within the show. Abracadabra mentioned it in the Future Flash episode, and Savitar mentioned it when he went into the Cortex trying to be all good with Team Flash. Clifford DeVoe, they've mentioned his name a couple of times throughout the second half of the season, really kind of amping up that he will be the main villain to season 4. Now that doesn't mean that there won't be another speedster villain. Remember at the beginning of season 3 there was a speedster villain for like an episode, but I mean he was totally whack. I feel like DeVoe will be actually a very good choice for this next coming season. Now I'll probably do a video just on DeVoe by himself because he is a pretty dope character, and for him not being a speedster to go up against the Flash, and I feel like he can actually go toe to toe with the Flash. I love the Flash, and I know a lot of people, they kind of get annoyed because, oh, it's just another speedster. Why just another speedster? But because the Flash, if you really think about it, he is so powerful that there's not a lot of people who can go toe to toe with the Flash. That is why the greatest Flash villain, the Rogues are amazing, but the greatest Flash villain is the Reverse Flash. Not a lot of people can go toe to toe with the Flash. And bringing up the Thinker, I feel like he can be a very good opponent and a very good villain for season 4. I will dive into this way more in a coming video. Getting back to Godspeed, I feel like Godspeed will not come in season 4. They will hint him maybe a couple times in the first half of the season, but definitely they will hint him in the second half of the season, especially going into season 5. I know, crazy to think about, we just finished season 3 talking about season 4, and we may talk about season 5. I really don't think that they will have him in season 4 for a couple reasons, but I feel like for the reason I just said, this show, since not a lot of people can go toe to toe with the Flash, and we've had 3 speedster villains already, Eobard, Zoom, and Savitar. And I know some people have gotten annoyed, oh, it's just another speedster, and I feel like they're gonna change, it's gonna give a new dynamic to the show to bring in a non-speedster and really go toe to toe and not bore anyone throughout the whole season. August Hart, and he could be one of the people that gets introduced in the beginning of the season, who gets hit and gets mentored by Wally, but then they could maybe just put him out and we know that he's there, and then really bring him up towards the end of the season. Focus on him a little bit, as the main focus is gonna be on the Thinker for season 4, but really bring him back in the last couple episodes of the season, and then them hyping up the character of August Hart, transitioning from just a person who got hit to becoming a villain known as Godspeed for season 5. I feel like that is a really smart way to go at it because he is such a good character. I feel like he could probably do as much damage as Savitar or Zoom or even Eobard. Like he is, I feel like he could be just a really solid villain to go up against Barry. I will do a couple videos, one just talking about, just really go in detail about Godspeed, the Thinker. Flash season 3 just got put on Netflix today. I'm probably gonna watch that again just because, but in the meantime, you can subscribe, you can comment, you can like, you can share this, because that would help me out a lot. My name is Haseo Castillo, and I will see you in the next video.